giving you, some sort of thematic wrap-up to begin with. So what we have done over the last few hours is to really look at, what has been said and what's been going on during the conference. What sort of knowledge, expertise, experiences, and practices have been shared, and try to really distill the essence of it. I'm not sure, we've really achieved that within the last hour or so, but we've achieved something. And then in the end, I will also give you some more data on the conference. So we brag with a few sort of quantitative facts, and that will be it then, I suppose. All right, so let me start. The Third Space World Conference is coming to a close. We really wanted to look at it in terms of the title of the conference, Third Space or Third Spaces, because I think what has emerged over the course of the conference are really 7 different ways of thinking about third space, about the notion of third space. And I would like to share this with you now. The third, we started with Joe Pine's notion of the real and the virtual, the notion of the metaverse, the sort of space that emerges out of the sort of technological evolution, development, and the possibility that comes with it to sort of interface the real and the virtual in actually 8 different ways, which then leads to the multiverse that Joe Pine is talking about. However, there is a certain limitation to Joe Pine's concept, and I'm sure he's not going to like this, but I think there is his notion of the third space is one that is really almost entirely linked to the space of consumption. And in this way, it is about products, it is about services. It is in this sense, he's still employing an old style notion of the market, because it focuses on consumption. It focuses on the sort of intersection of reality and the virtual in the space of consumption. And that is why, that's not necessarily bad. He's just looking at that, right? He's just looking at this particular space in the market and approaching it, as I think, from a rather conservative understanding of the market, what Joe Pine needs in order, and that's also, I think, why he's so fascinated with Seats to Meet, is exactly that. He needs Seats to Meet, he needs co-working. Why? Because technology and co-working is used in such a way that the real and the virtual are interfaced, but not in order to generate a space of consumption, but to produce, to generate, to recreate a process, to recreate the way in which we work. I didn't use the term work because I suppose the activity or the practice that places like Seats to Meet are really pushing is something that is sort of post-labor, post-work. It is something that is generation. People are not. Of course, they are working in a way, but it's not the old notion of labor, which is also, of course, a notion that is related to a concept in physics and so on. So I think we're moving beyond that. We're moving beyond this sort of practice that we once called labor or work. So Pine is about consumption, Seats to Meet is about generation, is about the process of making something, of actually, sort of doing something with the energy of people in order to create then an experience that Joe Pine is trying to map in his notion of the metaverse. So really, this is about new value systems. Joe Pine is not about new value systems. Joe Pine is about experiences. This is about the stuff that goes into production, that goes into generation. So new value systems, and hence also a new understanding of the market, and an understanding of the market based on a different spatiality, a real third, spatiality, that one could call topology, because there is much more than these 2 dimensions of, supply and demand, and there's much more than economic value that enters sort of in the generative equation, if you will. When we talked about love, we talked about trust and all these values that are so important to the world of co-working and so important in order to generate serendipity and all these things that Ronald talked about yesterday. And I think also this is where Bilson and meetings are particular tools that support this this new world, right? So the Bilson, of course, he was thinking of what can architecture contribute to this new this new space, this third space of generation. And meetings, again, is a very concrete tool that makes it easier to organize these things that are that we are doomed to do, but that also makes us great. I.e. meet. I mean, it's not just that meetings are a waste of time. They're not just that which hinders us to achieve great things. They're also exactly what we need to do to achieve great things. So we need meetings, and technology can help to make this a much more pleasant and sort of efficient process, actually. All right, that's the second notion of third space. The third notion, again, the real and the virtual. I think what is important when we look at this sort of interface between the real and the virtual, and this is what Robert Govers taught us, is that this space. I mean, I think this is the third space we're talking about. This has to be authentic somehow. Right? It's not something that we can just sort of think up and then it will somehow magically emerge. No, it just doesn't work. I mean, I think he's made this very clear that, referring to the, in a way, example of place branding, that there has, the truth has to be told. I mean, there has to be authenticity, otherwise this third spaces cannot work. Then, moving on to the fourth example, or to the fourth notion of third space, we come to education, and we come to the nomads, and what is the third space of education really? What is it? And I mean, I'm sort of still struggling with it a little bit, and I think the reason why I'm still struggling a little bit with it is that John made clear that it is the space of imagination we're talking about. So it is a space where, of course, a nomad, someone who can work almost with anybody, anytime and anywhere, is someone who needs a lot of imagination. I mean, these third spaces of education are imaginative spaces, but they are imaginative spaces in the sense that we still have to think up them. They have to think them up, while simultaneously they're also spaces where imagination has to take place. And so it's difficult. It's almost a paradox, and we can only make it by making it, sort of. I mean, it's not, again, it's not something that we can sort of think up and then implement them, but I think it's our practice that has to sort of throw them up, right? John is nodding, so I suppose I got that sort of right. Okay, the fifth third space, or the fifth notion of third space came from Annie Rolf from Germany. And she was talking about jellies and the Jelly Week. And in a way, I mean, the Jelly Week is a great third space, because it is not really a space, it is a procedural space. It is something that is not, I mean, of course, it will take place on a place, because it takes place, right? But it is something that is ephemeral, that is just, that is taking place for a day or for a week or for, a week, a Jelly Week, right? But after that, it sort of disperses. So it is a temporary space, it is a procedural space, it is something that might actually invent a much more regular and continuous space, but in itself it is a procedural space, and then it might lead to the building of a co-working space, or the sort of initiation of an initiative that might then lead to something concrete and sort of more continuous, but as such, it is a procedural space. I think I've said that 4 times now. That's enough. The sixth third space, the sixth notion of third space is one that we encountered, I think, in Egypt, Greece, and Uganda in a way. I know they didn't really like us to sort of refer to them as you know, being contextualized, you know, within a crisis space, but I think they are, and the great thing about them is that they are trying to use, you know, their collaborative forms of you know, generation of work, of you know, inventing new value systems through co-working and so on. They were actually actively using this to get to a post-crisis future, and so in this sense, again, you know, you got a third space there, and the final space that Liu Jan introduced us to today is the one that we, for lack of a better term, called the Trojan banyan tree space. So you know, which is of course, you know, her way of tricking China into co-working. We thought, you know, would best characterize it. And I think that's the 7 ways in which roughly we talked about the notion of third space. And I think it shows that it was a good title for the conference, because it's although, you know, my ramblings might appear rather you know, chaotic, you know, I think at their essence, the third space sort of connects all this, and I hope to just, you know, have been able to show this a little bit. All right, to the more easier part of this presentation, which is statistics. We had 23 speakers in these 24 hours. We had 8 live Skype sessions, which were, you know, more or less successful. And yes, 24 hours content. We had 1,100 viewers, which is quite a bit, 15 minutes average viewing time, and the stream was shared 250 times. So already quite impressive numbers. This is the countries. We've been watched in 31 countries, where the green ones are the ones that watched us. So also quite you know, spread out over the globe. And there was quite a bit of twittering going on. We were trending Holland yesterday, as we said. And this is quite amazing, actually, I think. We reached 122,099 people with almost 1,400 tweets, which means that in terms of exposure, it's 1.7 million impressions. That means that, you know, 1.7 times people have sort of looked into their interfaces and seen something referring to what was going on here or, you know, elsewhere in the context of this conference. And that's it. And I think we got a
Hey everybody. My name is Marielle. I'm Marielle Seigers. I'm the other founder of seeds2meet.com. Together with Ronald, you met yesterday. And wow, this was really a great experience. So I thought, here just behind me is the conference room where all the people joined in a virtual way or in a physical way on a podium, a big global stage we created with all of you together. And I'm so proud of it, that it really happened. What started as a small idea became really the dream come true for all of us and hopefully also for all the people participating in this program. We wanted to create a program together with you where no time, no place and no money restrictions would be there. And I think we managed to do it. Thanks to you. So thanks a lot to all of the contributors and all of the people who joined in and immediately said, of course we are there. So thanks a lot. We had a great time and hopefully you did as well. Of course, we're gonna share all the content we've created now together with the other content makers. And of course, you can share it with a lot of other people in your network. I think this is really the transformation we were talking about. We started something new and we created a platform where we can really reach each other. We already could, but I think this is a way we can do it even better. Also, of course, many, many thanks to all the people who helped us to facilitate this international podium. And then I think, of course, of people like Vincent, Sean, Anna-Marije, Eric, Nancy, the people of Cyberdigma who created all the software which helped us to do this, what we wanted. The crew of Seeds2Meet.com Utrecht, of course, and many, many more I probably forget at this moment. Thank you all for joining in. I'd like to end up this conference by thanking our host. He was here for about 24 hours. Sebastiaan, thank you very much for doing this in your own way, the way you asked all those critical questions, and you are so much into this topic. I think you are the one expert we needed to create this big stage together. I hope to meet you all somewhere in the third space, and for now I wish you a good time and see you soon again. Bye.